Good evening. You have joined me today by Gribdale, a location that is not on the Isle of Skye. Yep, I have left the island. I'm now at home and wondering where to go next. So any of you at home that have got any good ideas of locations where I can move to, hopefully find a job, yeah, hit me up, message in the comments below. Because at the moment I'm in the North Yorkshire Moors, which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely beautiful, but it's not quite Skye. But anyway, so tonight we are off to go and photograph the Matterhorn of the northeast, Roseberry Topping. The conditions, you can probably see around me right now, are looking pretty favourable. Also, I'm wearing a t-shirt, look at that, look around me, not a swarm of midges. Doesn't get much better. If there's one perk of leaving the island, that is no midges. But anyway, time to get this walk on. See what we can find. So I've just decided to stop really. One, because it's beautiful and I've got plenty of time, no shortage of time. And two is because I found all this beautiful yellowy golden grass that's getting kissed by the light right now. And it just looks incredible. And I really quite fancy it as a bit of foreground interest. So I think it's time to get the camera out. So I've decided to go for a pretty simple shot. I've put my telephoto on, but I'm only using it at 70mm, but it is so sharp and crisp. The Tamron G2 70-200, excellent lens by the way, have to say that. It is an excellent lens. But what I'm doing is I'm shooting through that golden grass. So the bottom half of my scene is that golden grass, and the top half is Roseberry Topping. Now, I am shooting a little bit towards the sun, so I have got to be careful of glare, and there's quite a lot of wind, so I am going to have the grass moving around, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm going to focus stack. So I've got the grass sharp and then the mountain sharp, put them together, and fingers crossed I end up with a beautiful image. I've just finished with my first shot and it looks good, but what I'd like more is a bigger separation between that grass. I don't like the way the grass was coming over the sides of the mountain, and you'll see in the image that I'm about to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my center column and see if I can cancel out the grass leaving the edges of the mountain. So I just followed exactly the same process, but I raised the center bar by maybe 2.5 inches, and I'll show you the second image. And I really quite like the way the trees almost come through the grass in the midground, and I think it just looks that little bit better. I don't know, tell me in the comments below whether the first one was better or the second one. But it's quite interesting just how simply you can use the grass, a little bit of focus stacking, and then you get a different feel to a hill that's been photographed so many times. But I'm going to get packed up and see what I can find further on. So I've made it to Roseberry Topping now, and I'm not sure on which point I'm going to choose as my final photograph. I've got a couple of ideas. The first one is using that footpath down there, but because it is summer, Little Roseberry, this hill just over here, this little hill just over here has grown. It's grown by about 4 foot on each side due to the bracken, which kind of means it cuts out the juicy part, and that is where you can see the footpath leading all the way down. Now, for the other option, it is this mound just over here, which is called Little Roseberry, and there's quite a nice composition off the top, and what I'm thinking is cast with some beautiful golden light by the setting sun. That will be quite a nice image, I hope. It's always a hope, but for clouds in the skies, I don't think I'm going to get any, but fingers crossed I can find something else. Alright, let's walk a little bit closer and see what there is to be seen. So I've made it, I've got my camera out, and now I've got to find a composition. The subject, the focal point, easy, got that, it's there. Now it's trying to find something that complements that, something that works well with such an imposing focal point, something that helps balance it out. Obviously it has to be central, it has to be. Look at it, it's ridiculous, it has to be central. But to find something that guides your eye in and gives it justice. So, got the camera out. It's time to have a little wander around, I think. I think I've got it. So, I found a really nice, interesting bend in the path. You know, it is a dirt path, and it would be quite nice if it was a brick path, but again, you can't have it all. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to do a focus stack along the footpath, and then I'm going to set my camera up on a timer, and I'm going to run and be in the scene. The reason why mainly is because there isn't a lot going on. There isn't a lot of interest. So by me putting myself in the scene, it does two things. It gives that interest, and it gives the hill behind me, Roseberry Topping. I keep wanting to call it a mountain. Definitely not a mountain. But that hill behind me, it gives it scale, because I'm going to be quite far away from my camera. I'm going to be over on the little ridge at the end over there, and I think that might work quite nicely. The light is so beautiful right now, and if I had some clouds in the sky, I'd be blown away. But let's see how this is going to turn out. I think it's going to be pretty good, I think. So to capture the focus stack, first of all, I'm going to do the 3 steps. well, the 2 steps. I'm going to do the immediate foreground, and then I'm going to do a little bit further down, and then the ridge line, and that's where it gets a bit exciting for me, because that's where I'm going to have to run down there and hopefully get there and stand perfectly still to capture this shot. To do that, I have raised my ISO to the height, the dizzying height of 100, which isn't crazy, but for me that's quite unusual, which has given me a 2.5 second exposure, which isn't particularly quick but should be fast enough for these conditions. And I think it's going to be quite a nice shot. Again, I am going to come back for sure when there is some clouds in the sky, because it needs them. This shot, it's quite nice, but without that interest in the sky, it's a little bit difficult to make it interesting, but hopefully I'll do the trick. Now it's time for me to get involved. For this, I'm going to don my jacket, make myself look that little bit more outdoorsy. Now, what would be nice if this wasn't green? Let's say if it was blue, orange, something that really stands out. Maybe not orange, but something that really contrasts against the orange, because there's quite a lot of orange light right now. Beautiful, but it's a bit of a clash. But let's see if it all works out anyway. So I've decided to go with a 10 seconds timer. I think that should be long enough for me to get down there and stand perfectly still. Fingers crossed. So I got myself in a scene and I am nice and sharp. Like, not moved. It's okay. But I'm kind of lost. Lost amongst the greens. Green jacket, khaki trousers, which is a bit of a shame. But what can you do? I've only got a green t-shirt on as well. No other options. But I'm happy with the results of the shot. Now comes the most important part, making sure Roseberry Topping is nice and sharp too. So I'm going to focus in on that now and get that shot. And there we go, I've got that final shot. Now, there is quite a lot of contrast, so just to make sure now we're focused in on the furthest point, so focus to infinity, I'm just going to bracket that shot. So I'm going to do a low exposure, slightly longer, and then a longer exposure, just so that I definitely get the details in them shadows. Now, I don't distrust my Nikon. Nikons are great with depth, with dynamic range. That was the word I was looking for. They are amazing at dynamic range, but I don't want to mess it up, you know what I mean? So I'm going to bracket the shot, and then I think I'm going to call it a night. So what did you think of the last shot? I think it looked pretty sweet, if you ask me. I did take it. But I will be back when there's some clouds in the sky. Roseberry Topping looks really good when there's clouds. Maybe even sunrise. Don't know yet. Maybe sunrise. It'd be quite a commitment coming out at that time in the morning. But anyway, that is the end from this vlog this week. I hope you're not too upset about the change in locations, and if you have got any ideas on where is beautiful, where I should try and find a job next, yeah, hit me up in the comments below. But for tonight, that is it, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, all the rest of that jazz, and yeah, peace out. I had to stop and capture it. Look at it. Why wouldn't I? It was absolutely beautiful, the way the path leads into the mountain, the light getting cast across the side. Absolutely incredible.